Are you about to hand back your lease car? Looking at those stone chips, wondering what they're going to cost you? Regretting letting your kids eat chocolate in the back? Yep, we've all been there. Returning your lease car can be very stressful. The looming threat of unexpected charges and not knowing what your inspection is going to look like can be scary. But don't worry, in this video we're going to cover all sorts from what's considered fair wear and tear, how to deal with damage and prepping for your inspection. I'm Josh, the founder of Motorlet, an independent vehicle leasing broker. We've had thousands of people going through the same process, handing back their lease vehicles, and it's not as scary as you might think. What we always suggest to start with is to start your end of lease process a few months before it actually comes to an end. Because if you decide to start looking at it the week before, it's going to be stressful. Start by just reviewing your lease agreement and what it says about your handback process. Get a decent understanding of specific terms and conditions outlined so you can check on those for yourself, and then you can prepare to rectify any issues and calculate any potential charges. Many leasing companies offer pre-inspections before the actual pickup inspection, so this might be something you want to look at doing too. As for potential extra charges, they can come from a few places. The most common three are damage beyond what's considered reasonable wear and tear, going over the agreed mileage, and maintenance issues. Fair wear and tear is a term commonly used as it describes the reasonable and expected deterioration or depreciation of a car that occurs over time from being driven around. Let's face it, it's unrealistic to expect someone to have a car for 3 or 4 years and give it back in pristine condition. That does mean you have some wiggle room. Charges won't happen because of everyday use of a car, but they might if there's damage or neglect that goes beyond what's considered reasonable. Stone chips, minor scuffs, small scratches, and normal wear to the upholstery or carpeting are often accepted as everyday damage. What leasing companies would consider as unacceptable damage includes, you guessed it, any wear or damage that exceeds the bounds of normal use. So things like substantial dents, deep scratches, large stains on the interior, excessive wear on tyres or brakes, missing or broken components, or any damage that impacts the vehicle's functionality or safety. You'll probably find in your leasing agreement the exact particulars on what your contract will agree on, so you can check on there. It'll often give you sizing too in centimetres or inches on what's acceptable, which will help if you've managed to get a particularly long scratch noticeable somewhere. The BVRLA plays an important role in guidelines and standards, including the definition and the interpretation of fair wear and tear. They help prevent disputes and misunderstandings between leasing companies and customers. And if you feel like you're being unfairly billed over what you consider to be acceptable, they'll get involved. Okay, so as far as pre-return inspection goes, here are some checks to make for yourself. Do a walk around of your car, look for dents, scratches or any visible damage. Pay special attention to the bumpers, mirrors and doors because they tend to be worse off. Check the tyre condition as you go too, including tyre depth and any signs of unusual wear, and it's best to make sure all tyres are properly inflated. Then have a look over your interior. Look for stains, tears or damage to the upholstery, carpeting or dashboard. Try to ensure all interior components, things like buttons and knobs and screens, are all in working order. Whilst you're in there, look at the mileage and compare it to your mileage limit specified in your lease agreement. Check you're in your agreed amount, and if not, you can calculate the cost before the day. It's also best to do a technical inspection. Start the engine, listen for any unusual noises, test the lights, signals, brakes, and any other crucial system to make sure they're functioning correctly. Also, pull together your maintenance records and review them. We're talking services and MOTs if you had to do any. It's just a bit easier to hand it all over on the day. During your inspection, document all findings with photos and videos, clearly highlighting any issues or concerns you've got so you know exactly what's there when you handed it over. Here at Motorlet, we do this for our customers if they want added confidence in their returns. We have a number of really experienced professionals who can help with assessing the condition of your vehicle during the pre-return inspection before you hand it back over. Our recommendations can help you address any issues proactively, potentially saving you money and preventing disputes with the leasing company if you do have any damages. If you do have some damage, like I said, document all the issues with photos and contact your lessor for guidance on repairs and recommendations. You can get some repair estimates from shops. It's often cheaper to fix it yourself than to pay for the damage when it goes back. Addressing any minor damages or maintenance issues early on and throughout your lease will give you more control on the repair process and usually be a better value option. Keep meticulous records of all repair-related documentation, schedule repairs well in advance of the return date, and inspect the repairs to ensure they meet your expectations. Speak up during the pre-inspection process if you need to, and give them all the records to show you've maintained the car correctly. Make sure it's clean and tidy. You don't need to pay for a full valet, just a token hoover and a wipe over should do it. Like I mentioned, make sure you've got your own pictures for your peace of mind. Clear and well-lit photographs of both the interior and the exterior which capture any existing scratches, dents or stains, and have the metadata to show you the time and date. Ideally, you'll have done this at the start of your lease too. These pictures will serve as pretty undeniable evidence of the car's condition when returning it, so if the leasing company does claim any damage or wear and tear that existed before your lease or after your lease, you can use these photographs to clear yourself. If there are any pre-existing damages that you've got pictures of, point it out to the inspector and they'll exclude it from their wear and tear. They're not monsters most of the time. But honestly, if you have any doubts or concerns during the inspection, just speak to the inspector. You can also request a copy of the inspection report. They'll likely send you through a copy anyway. If you do end up with some charges, carefully review the details provided by the leasing company. Try to understand each charge and the reasons behind them. If you do disagree with the inspection, again, speak up. Discuss your reasons with your leasing company and provide evidence to support your position. Without it, it's hard to win. You can do this in writing. Send a formal letter or email outlining your concerns, providing supporting evidence and request a resolution. You'll need to be open to negotiation with the leasing company because it's unlikely they're just going to drop the charges. And that's really it. Returning your lease car doesn't have to be negative. Follow these tips and you'll be on your way to a smooth, worry-free return. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate you tapping the like button or subscribing for more leasing content. And remember, Motorlet is here to support you every step of the way if you do decide to lease with us.